Before I say anything about this week, I know this is not YouTube, but this is MeTube, and this is a very desirable plant, especially one that big, which is Encyclia marina, Encyclia Katrina times Encyclia Marii. But you see the price? Not for me. Marina, tropical plant, falls under the Cattleya genus. Well, Cattleya encyclia, now it's Prostechia, and now it used to be Prostechia. Now it's Eucalyptus. 8 bulbs, wow. And I tell you, this plant, the fragrance is to die for. I kid you not. Look at that. Beautiful picture. Now, you know, if you don't know, citrina hangs upside down, kind of like a tulip, and has, of course, citrine scent, very strong. But the way that it's grown in nature is just so darn intriguing. And it's like I said, it's an upside down tulip, perfectly white, sometimes green, but then there's Marii, which has a fuller lip and is more of a green with that white lip. Well, actually, it's more of a white flower with tinge of green around the lip, I believe. Maybe there's some green in the petals, but anyway, I think that's when the flower ages and gets old. But in any event, they both are fragrant, and especially citrina and this marina is to die for. I spoke too soon. Shut the door. Man, have I been cleaning. I still have to get rid of that. And I need help moving this back because there's still, as you can see, about a foot to the door. Probably get rid of this. This doesn't need to be here, it can slide. Or maybe I can get rid of this and use this in place. So, and these are the Phalaenopsis and my Trichocentrums, mostly an assortment of things. And I have been making sure that this hasn't turned on yet. Although the 220 is right there. And it looks like it's plugged in. Can I tell you a funny story? Are you here? Yeah. You want to hear a funny story? And sorry if this is off topic, whatever the topic was. But I know one of my topics. But off topic. I got a call from a friend that I hadn't heard from in a while. And she asked me if I was still growing orchids because she had heard that I had a heat failure. This was today. Now, I did have a heat failure. No, I had a heat failure. My heater down there that I was just checking went out. This is a new one. I think this one just might not be. We've been having issues with circuits, to make a long story short, but I had the good fortune of coming out like we all do. And as I came down to this end, this thing kicked on. And granted, there were more plants in front of the flow of the air. And I don't know how long it's been kicked on. I don't know whether or not she put a curse on me. She's a witch. I haven't even mentioned it to her. But luckily, there was no damage. Isn't that funny? But I know this is one thing that I have to point out. This was purchased. I'll just take it down. Oh, see? Fans got me. Okay, Encyclia marina, 4N. And I just took it off what I had originally got it maybe a year ago. Has it been that long? Yeah, a year at least. And reattached it onto this ceramic mount. Seems to be doing a lot better. It's maturing this growth. And this is a growth from last season. Doing well. I haven't lost anything. And that is now Eucalyptus, and it is also so lovely, fragrant, so very fragrant, if it is indeed Eucalyptus marina. I feel like I cheated on you or kept secrets, which is the same thing to me. I got 2 hauls in, and one of them I did on a live, which was a really nice haul from Botanica. And then this week I got a haul, and it was not from Botanica, but 2 really nice things that I want to show you came in before I forget about them. One of them is right here. Now, I'm gonna have to still learn this plant. Sorry, it is getting dark. Okay, that's better. But this is Jumelia major. Really, really nice plant. I've tried this a few times. Well, yeah, I did try it a few times. Both times it was as an import. So those were very difficult. It came with no roots. So, and it was much smaller than this. But Jumelias, in my experience, my limited experience, they prefer things closer to Aranthes arangus. They want intermediate. They don't want to dry out ever, but they don't want soggy roots. They still like air movement around the roots. Okay, we are talking about Jumelia, species from Madagascar, and the Comoros Islands have been divided into 6 groups. They're separated by their distinct growth forms. And it further talks about the differences. Plants are very large with short stem or stemless. Plants with rather short stem bearing small leaves, very close together with elongated stems with a spur at the base of the lip. Plants with very elongated stems. Plants with elongated stems. Plants with... Okay, so here we are, Jumelia major, and this is under group 1. Okay. Plants are very large, with short or elongated stem, upright. Inflorescence piercing the leaf stems with sheaths. Flowers large, fleshy, pure white. Pendant at first and recurved. Epiphyte on trees beside streams, flowering in March and May, Madagascar. Eastern Highlands, this plant has very distinct, pure white flowers, probably the largest flowers in the genus. And here is Jamelia major. And they're an epiphytic plant, so that's why they need air movement. So I need to get this out of this moss pronto before the roots start to rot. But the roots are very fleshy, as like an angrecum, so they can take it dry periods of time. So it is better to err with caution on the side of dry when it comes to these plants. And the same thing is true for the other plant that I got. And shoot, it was, oh, here we go, it fell over. This is Dan Canaliculatum. That's another dream plant. Well, Jamelia major, that's not really a dream plant, but Dendrobium canaliculatum is. It is a antelope type, if you can believe it. All right, Den canaliculatum. Variable species in eastern Australia, northern Australia and New Guinea. Widespread in a variety of habitats, from swamplands to open forest grassland to semi-arid areas, mostly on trees, trunks of trees and clusters of 4 to 7 small pseudobulbous stems. Numerous racemes carrying 50 or more tricolored fragrant flowers are frequently seen in its natural habitat. Its growing season is the wet season, which is from late spring to early fall, when rain falls nearly every day. Rest plants in late autumn to early winter, keeping drier than most dendrobiums and giving maximum light. Minimum winter temperature 15 degrees. And there is that precious, delicate Dendrobium canaliculatum. I love it. So it does like warm to intermediate temperatures. It likes good drainage at the roots. It likes a definite lessening of water towards the fall, winter, dry season, and or when it's completing its growth. Still getting the same humidity, still getting decent sun, but not full sun. So it does not like too much water. And to show you the roots, and there are the pseudobulbs that are capable of storing up nutrients during the off season, and then towards the end of winter, spring, they put up their inflorescence and they're really tiny antelope, very fragrant, lilac, purple, white, tiny flowers, but they can branch and they are in numerous supply. Small, little, delicate thing. Anyway, one more thing that I wanted to add that I've, in my experience and to my chagrin of killing these orchids time after time and not giving up. As far as antelope types, I think the struggle with them is when as far as when to stop watering. And with Den canaliculatum, as well as some of the other the antelope dens like Lasianthera, densiflorum, anyway, as they are completing their growths, they want less of everything, but they still want the light. They want less humidity, in fact, and you have to cut off the fertilizer, and they still get mists, early morning mists, but imagine their water, due to the fact that they are close to streams the majority of the time, hanging from trees, streams are dried up in the time that we're talking about, which is the down period. We'll call it a rest period, if you may. But I think another thing is when they are maturing their pseudobulbs, and this is for some of the types that are not just dendrobiums, but some of the more the canes are sort of fibrous, meaning, have you ever had a plant where you don't know what, but one day it's healthy, the next morning you come out and the stupid thing is plopped over, or it's like weak in the legs. It's, you know what I'm talking about. It's the grossest thing ever. And I'm not talking, I think this is worse than the F word. Anyway, I think, in my experience with that, is in addition to lessening of fertilizer and water, they need a drop in humidity, similar to the drop in their differential temperature from day to night. That's very much a accurate comparison, I would say, especially in the season that we're talking about. Those things are happening more naturally. They should be. The rainy season, fall, things are deciduous, leaves drop, humidity drops with the lessening of the temperatures. So that's something, but also you can also get a rise in the humidity in those sort of conditions when it is warm and they're getting hot water. So when the canes are at that stage of maturation. Anyway, I'm going on and on. Sorry. I also mentioned another haul from Botanica that I did a live unboxing, and YouTube, for some reason, screwed it up, and now it's disappeared. So I will have to do another video pointing out that unboxing because it was pretty major.